Chapter 6507. Hearing Charlie's ridicule, Duncan couldn't help but laugh and said, "Originally, I thought you were really going to give John a remodeling pill for free. And I felt a little bit sorry. Now it seems that this pill really gave Victoria a great stimulus. And at the same time did not let John get any benefits. Killing two birds with one stone." Charlie nodded and said, "The pill is indeed precious. But as long as it can produce the desired effect, it is worth the money." Duncan said, "This John is also unlucky. He had 3 hands chopped off in a row." Charlie smiled and said, "The Wu family under Victoria's protection either committed many evil deeds or assisted the tyrant. The fact that they can reproduce to this day is inseparable from the tens of thousands or even more dead warriors and cavalry guards enslaved by the warrior's den. Speaking of which, everyone has original sin. I only cut off John's hand, which is already a bargain for him." After that, Charlie said, "No. I gave him one hand first, and then cut off his other hand. It's even if anyone is to blame, it can only be Victoria." Duncan smiled and said, "Indeed. I think he hates Victoria the most now, not you." After that, he couldn't help but ask Charlie, "By the way, Mr. Wade, how did you come up with this idea? Were you so sure that Victoria would cut off John's left hand again? If it were me, I might not do it. The first time she cut off his left hand was a punishment for him. He had accepted and completed the punishment at that time. After that, if someone gave him a pill and made his left hand grow again, I don't think I have any reason to cut off his left hand again. If I keep his left hand and let the pill you gave me become an established fact, it will not only show my fairness and justice, but also make my enemy lose a pill in vain. But if I cut off his hand again, wouldn't I just fall into the opponent's trap?" Charlie smiled and said, "Inspector Lee, the reason why I said before that I wanted to put eye drops on Victoria was that I wanted to use this pill to humiliate her. Although she is still alive today, the organizational structure and underlying logic of her ruling the warrior's den are still based on the feudal monarchical thinking of the Ming dynasty. The monarchs of the feudal era, whether wise or foolish, had a common characteristic, which was that they couldn't tolerate humiliation. In terms of achievements, Yang Wangzhou Di is considered a wise monarch. If Fang Xiaoru did not give him a face, he could also kill his 10 clans. If John swaggers around with his left hand, Victoria will lose face. She knows that I wanted to humiliate her with this pill, but she can only deal with it by removing the evidence." Speaking of this, Charlie sighed. "In fact, I hope she doesn't cut off his left hand. In that case, the core members of the warrior's den will know that their mysterious enemy has a pill like the reshaping pill, which is a heaven-defying pill. This will make them more afraid of me, and at the same time will reduce their fear of Victoria's confidence." Duncan pondered for a moment, nodded gently, and said, "I haven't considered this level. It seems that criminal investigation thinking is still very one-sided." Charlie said, "Every profession has its own expertise. So a team needs all kinds of professional talents to complement each other. If Victoria had a detective like you who is proficient in criminal investigation, I'm afraid she would have known about me already." Duncan nodded and smiled. "What you said makes sense. But the underlying logic of the warrior's den also determines that it is difficult for them to have real high-end talents, except for the members who are controlled and enslaved. The others are basically the Wu family's own people. Those who are enslaved must always be guarded against by them. And they have hatred for them, and they will not really work for her wholeheartedly. If the Wu family can cultivate top talents themselves, it's okay. If the Wu family can't cultivate them, then it's really a grassroots team." Charlie smiled and said, "Just look at the late Qing dynasty. Those royal nobles and the children of the 8 banners have lived a life of luxury for hundreds of years. How can there be a person who can support the collapsing building? If it weren't for the 4 heroes of the late Qing dynasty to extend the life of the Qing court, the royal nobles of the dynasty would have fled back to their hometowns outside the Great Wall long ago. And the 4 heroes of the Qing dynasty were all Han people without exception. if Victoria still appoints people based on personal connections in the future. The result of the Den may be worse than that of the late Qing dynasty. At least there were 4 heroes in the late Qing dynasty to continue the fate. But she doesn't even have one hero. Duncan asked, is Miss Song a hero? Didn't you say that her talent is far beyond ordinary people? Charlie said, Ria's talent is indeed far beyond ordinary people. It is really amazing that she has such strength at a young age. But based on my current understanding of her, she is just a military general. Even if she is not caught by me, she will not be able to bring an overall improvement to the Den in the future. The current warrior's Den does not need people who can fight. What they need is a modern brain.